6 birds in a trench coat, building a zoo. Hello everybody and welcome back to Reptopia. A few things have happened since episode 3, including those letters up there. And of course, all of the things that I showed you in episode 3.5. What I did not show you, however, was this little vending machine area out front, as well as the one way at the back of the big building. And so many plants. Moving towards the entrance, you may notice that the doors are slightly shorter than they were. That is because I put up a roof over this. I also put in some plants, and yes, more animal signs. Out here we have benches, we have trash cans, and a very confident looking security guard. We also have this road that wasn't there before. Here's the top of the new roof, as well as an entirely new staff building. And over here we have an old staff building, but definitely been prettied up a bit. Now inside these, I put up door maps. And over here we have yet another security system, this one a little simpler, because these animals have only one gate. That one between the inside area and the outside area. So my plan is to put in fake habitat gates on the outside and just use the big middle gate as a security measure. There is that new road again, right in the middle, splitting the large central habitat into two. And the smaller one over here is actually where we're going to be building today. We will be putting in some giant tortoises, so let's jump straight to the speed build. And of course, as promised, I will be answering your questions in a little while. First question I got was from Sir Pronalot. That's an amazing account name, by the way. What is your favorite semi-aquatic animal? Does not have to be in Planet Zoo. That is a very specific question. I like it. I have to admit my mind went straight to the manatee, although the manatee is not exactly semi-aquatic. So it might be the American bullfrog, which is in the game, just because the sound it makes is just completely ridiculous. I lived in Nebraska for a year. That's like right in the middle of the United States, and I was out canoeing one day and just heard this noise that I didn't know if it was a cow or if it was a person screaming or some kind of really sick animal. And it turns out it was this giant frog that suddenly was just staring me right in the face. Otherwise, maybe the mallard. We have quite a few of these ducks that show up in our garden and start just tapping on the window, demanding food. So yeah, those ducks have definitely brought me a lot of entertainment. We even ended up naming several of them. Right now we have Theodore Amadeus McDuck. Another question from Jackal Jacoby is, what's my favorite animal, living or extinct? Yeah, that's very difficult because there are so many amazing animals. I'm gonna have to go with either the kakapo or the kia, which are both parrots. They're both from New Zealand. None of them are extinct, but the kakapo, unfortunately, is very much under threat. There are very few individuals left. But I would love one day to go to New Zealand and meet, maybe even the kakapo, although that is highly unlikely, but definitely the troublemaking Kia. Don't park your car if you don't want those antennas picked off by super inquisitive, highly intelligent birds. Speaking of birds, Jackal Jacoby also asked, why specifically 6 birds in a trench coat? Did you run the numbers or did it just seem right? Yes, I did some very advanced math where I took the number of corgis that people claim to be in a trench coat and then I doubled it. There are so many things out there where people say like, I'm not a person, I'm really just 3 something or other in a trench coat. And when I see birds in a trench coat, I'm not thinking ostriches, although there could be an ostrich on the bottom of the pile, I guess. I'm seeing more like parrots and pigeons, sparrows. So in order to fill out a trench coat, I went for 6. So I guess the answer to the question is it just seemed right. Another question from Sir Pronalot. Do you play other games often? If so, what do you play? Any favorites? The answer is yes. I play quite a few other games. I'm playing Animal Crossing right now on this little Switch. I recently kind of got tired of playing Star Wars The Old Republic, but I have definitely played that for a while. Used to play World of Warcraft, who didn't? Not really sure why I stopped doing that. I guess I'll probably come back to it at some point. I did used to play all of the old Warcraft games, and I have this special, I guess, nostalgic love for Warcraft 2, where you have these little fat ogres walking around going, Dabu! Otherwise, I used to play The Sims. Again, I'm talking about so many games that I used to play and I'm not playing anymore. Oh yeah, End Zone, which is a post-apocalyptic building game. I really like that. The whole post-apocalyptic vibe is really my jam. Pretty much everything that I read also at the moment is either peri or post-apocalyptic. Peri meaning during. Also Banished, which has been in existence for a long time. It's another builder game. It's extremely simple, this indie game, but it just works so well, and there are an absolute host of mods out there that you can use to make this simple little indie game into this huge medieval city builder. It's a great game to play around with, either as it is or augmented in any number of possible ways. Another question from Zoosaurus. What are your favorite things to do outside of playing video games? I read that first as just, what are your favorite things to do outside? Because that's where my little YouTube studio thing on the phone decided to cut the line. But most of my favorite things to do outside of playing video games are actually things that I do outside. I really like going for walks to different places where I haven't been before. Just taking off somewhere with no idea where I'm going, and usually getting horribly lost. I always end up finding my way back. Anything that I do in my garden, especially this time of year. I know it's February and I'm at the very north of the northern hemisphere, but any day where the weather is even just halfway reasonably nice, I'm gonna be out there now because I am so tired of winter. And I want flowers and I want soil underneath my nails. I also tried growing vegetables several times actually, but funny thing is, when you forget to water them, they die. I did have some radishes that somehow survived. In fact, they made it through the winter, so when I started digging the next year, I found these very large wooden pink dirt tumors. Also, I really like playing with my birdies. I have 2 parrots, Pablo and Keely. Pablo is very, very smart, and Keely is intelligent in her own way. Pablo does so many tricks, and he loves doing tricks. In fact, if I try to do anything other than give him attention while he's out of the cage, which is every day for quite a while, he will do something like either just plop over on his back, because that's one of the tricks that he has learned. I say bang and he rolls over, and then expect a treat, or he will bring me something, because I've also taught him to play fetch. Even things like folding the laundry, which is incredibly non-inspiring, is so much more fun with birds. Even if you do end up folding the same shirt 4 times. I also really enjoy reading, although that is something that I mainly do in the summer, because my brain is just better equipped to focus when it's getting enough light. The last question of the day is from Roseanne, asking, what is the favorite habitat you ever made in Planet Zoo? And I've actually decided not to answer that question in this video because I think it deserves its own video. In fact, I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to show you. So stay tuned for a future video where I will be touring, I guess, my top 5 favorite of my own habitats. And thanks, Roseanne. That is a great idea for a video. Now this thing that I'm building here is another thing that is not functional in game, but you would see in many, many zoos. And that's sort of a photo station where you can plop your child on top of a cartoony looking version of the animal and then take their photo. And I found out that those little wooden round signs fit perfectly within those green leafy things. In fact, I'm pretty sure that those leafy things are also recolorable. I mean, green was the perfect color for this area, but if you can change the color of those, then all of a sudden you have much more of a spectrum of options when it comes to small custom signs in the game. Yeah, I'm going to play with that. Then I tried working with the lighting, because it's kind of dark right now with the sun from this angle, even with the roof up and away. And I found that everything was either too little or way too much. Yeah, that spot right there is the too much. So I changed it to a darker color, which just basically means you get less light. Look at that. That is cute. Now I plopped down the roof again and realized, of course, that I hadn't placed things properly in relation to it. So I just slid over that tree, and I actually like this placement of it better. It's not like 3 things on a row anymore. And that was it. Here we have the finished habitat with plenty of people yelling in the background. I really think it turned out well, and I think it fits in with the rest of the plants that I did off camera really, really nicely. Of course, the rock underneath the pool there again is for realism, for zoo realism, just like the concrete in the gharial habitat. And now, all that is left is for me to ask you a question. With 2 down and 6 to go, who do we build for next? Go ahead and battle it out in the comments. And as always, if you liked the video, please like the video. Bye!